Michael Dell rising to fame, a man who never wanted to learn, but was born to be a successful entrepreneur. He started a dubious business in his dorm room. His parents dreamed of a career as a doctor for him. And he bet everything on his dream of a computer. And he didn't lose. Michael Dell's name is known around the world. The company he founded at age 19 bears his name, Dell, and has done so since 2016. After successfully completing one of the biggest deals in the history of the IT industry, the acquisition of storage giant EMC known as Dell Technologies, which he founded. At age 26, he became the youngest CEO in U.S. history to enter the Fortune 500. At age 40 he was listed as one of the richest people in the United States. He made his first money in high school when he started selling newspaper subscriptions. However, when he found a way to use an untapped customer base, he made $18,000 in just one day. He made $18,000 in just 1 year. Most of his personal fortune is invested in MSD Capital, a private equity firm that invests in hotels and restaurants. Today, Michael Saul Dell is the fortunate owner of a total fortune of $22.7 billion, estimated by Forbes, which puts him 39th in Forbes' 2018 ranking of the world's richest people. Among the top 15 billionaires in the IT industry, he ranks 11th. He became a billionaire quite early and leads a luxurious lifestyle. He has a private jet, a summer house and a luxury car. He seems to have it all. But there is one thing he doesn't have. Michael Dell has no university education. But that doesn't bother him one bit and hasn't stopped him from taking his company to the top of the world. His career is quite exemplary, albeit short. So far, by the way, Mark Zuckerberg has not appeared in the famous rankings of this magazine. Dell was the youngest of the super rich. At that age even Bill Gates did not have that kind of money. Dell is also known as a philanthropist. Together with his wife, Dell founded the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation in 1999. A charitable foundation dedicated to solving children's problems. The foundation is dedicated to solving children's problems and supporting community organizations. Since 1999, the Dell Foundation has given $1.23 billion to various charities in the United States, to various charities and community organizations in the US, India, and South Africa. In 2016 alone, Michael donated $1 billion to the foundation. And for a relief and infrastructure rebuilding fund after Hurricane Harvey in Texas, he and Susan donated tens of millions of dollars. Michael Dell was born February 23, 1965, in Houston, Texas, to a fairly well-off Jewish family. His father, Alexander Dell, was a dentist and his mother, Lorraine, a broker, which is rather surprising considering how his son's future life would turn out. The family had nothing to do with computers or high technology. Neither were Michael's parents entrepreneurs. But they did have an income that they brought into the family through their profession. But the income that their profession brought in made it impossible to doubt the win-win model of their lifestyle. And the father predicted a medical future for his son. The mother had the same idea. The son attended Harrod Elementary School in Texas. From an early age he showed independent thinking, tenacity, and an entrepreneurial streak. The application he submitted to the University of Texas for admission to a part-time, full-time high school cost money. No big deal, you might say. It was 1973, and the young applicant was only 8 years old. Needless to say, the woman in charge of enrollment at the university was shocked to see you, a prospective student. Needless to say, she was shocked when she saw Michael Dell. But the boy had learned his first and most important lesson. Dell's lesson was that you don't have to know your customer to get him to buy your product. And to this worthy visitor, he calmly and seriously tried to explain. Why do you want to avoid high school at all costs? And his argument was quite plausible. There are enough important things in life. And that sense of, throw away the superfluous and get busy, didn't change until much later, decades later. At the age of 12, he noticed that stamp prices were constantly rising and that there were more and more stamp collectors. At first he bought stamps at auctions. However, he soon realized that he could avoid paying commissions by organizing such an event himself. He collected stamps to order from a stamp collector he knew, created a 12-page catalog, and placed an ad in a local magazine. He created a 12-page catalog and placed an ad in a local magazine to sell them. So he jokingly became $2,000 richer and got another lesson. This led to a phenomenal rise in his later career. But even before that, 8-year-old Michael had become a local kid's favorite, selling candy on the street. Dell's lesson: avoid middlemen whenever possible. His father recalled many funny episodes when he took his sons fishing in the Gulf of Mexico. Michael didn't go fishing like his elders, but sat on the shore. He patiently pulled on a fishing line with dozens of hooks. Then, at noon, he joined his elders to fish. Then, at noon, he joined the elders. The kid caught more fish than all the adults combined. Dell lesson: if you think an idea is good, try it. Other examples. At an early age, Michael did all kinds of equipment. At age 7, he had his first calculator. In math class, he read everything he could find about computers. Then he worked hard to save up money for the Apple II, the most popular computer at the time. This device was given to him by his parents when his son turned 15. To his father's annoyance, however, the computer was soon dismantled. Alexander, in fact, firmly believed that this expensive toy had been destroyed. But the boy was able to see the long-awaited internal device and soon found out how it worked. All the other computers in his life he had already built himself. As a high school student, he began selling subscriptions to the city newspaper. Of course, he did not sell from one end of the market to the other, but researched the market and chose the best ones he could find. Their target audience was newlyweds. Newlyweds received a free 2-week subscription with a message for newlyweds. The offer was then accompanied by a personalized message. Dell's lesson: it's not what you sell, it's how you do it. The act earned him $18,000 in a BMW car, which he bought with his own money. The 17-year-old shocked the car salesman by handing him the entire amount in cash. But he didn't let the computer go unnoticed either. He persistently continued to experiment with parts of the disassembled computer. He replaced memory chips, drives, and monitors, trying to improve performance in any way he could. Then he sold the disassembled computers at a profit. He invested the proceeds in new parts and components. And things went well again. He developed a good reputation among local suppliers. As a wholesaler, he was able to stock the parts he needed. It was an unprecedented opportunity. He could seriously compete with custom-made computers like those sold in specialty stores. And how profitable would that have been? But then his parents got in the way. They were not thrilled with their son's success. They chose the right path for them, including university and medical school. Michael did not resist his parents' wishes, and in 1983, he enrolled at Texas State University in Oklahoma City to study biology. At Texas State University in Austin, the students were literally raving about the latest technological innovation, the IBM personal computer. This was because the IBM personal computer was a cult product, with prohibitive prices, but the simplest model was sold by dealers for $0. The reason was that despite the prohibitive price, the simplest model sold by a dealer was worth more than $4,000, $2,500 of which went back to IBM. The new employee learned the brokers well and decided not to deal with the dealers. He decided not to deal with distributors, but to sell directly from the factory to the end user. This was especially important because he had a market hungry for the product in front of him, and the idea itself was literally lying on the floor. So what did he do? He started buying up excess inventory from dealers. Then he assembled finished machines in his dorm room. He modified the finished cars by adding accessories or removing some of them. His first customers were students from the neighborhood. After he placed advertisements in the newspapers, businessmen, doctors, and law firms also became customers. Great computers can be bought for 15% less than the retail price. He used the trunk of his car for storage and his workspace as a room, but it soon became completely uninhabitable. Business was booming, and his parents were worried. The son showed no interest in learning and refused to follow his father's advice to get a degree first. Of course, from time to time he tried to agree with his father, but not for long. Then he started collecting and selling computers again. His sales were already exceeding $50,000 a month. Michael put everything he had into his business. He spent all his savings, rented a one-room office and hired an employee for the first time in his life. And for the first time in his life, he hired an employee. And on May 3, 1984, at the age of 19, he founded Dell Computer Corporation. Michael's specialty was still direct sales of IBM computers. He added the most advanced bells and whistles of the day to the machines. Dell's lesson: sell what users need, not what you have in stock. And do it at a lower price than other companies. He generated $180,000 in sales in the first month and $265 in the second. Somehow the self-taught entrepreneur's revolutionary methods were not taken seriously by any of the whales of the business world, and he was not seen as a competitor. In 1988, the company changed its name to Dell Computer Corporation and went public. The IPO, which had already raised $30 million, earned Dell itself about $18 million. And Dell is already selling 1,000 PCs a month and hiring new employees. The company has also implemented efficient production methods. Customers are offered a money-back guarantee. The company offers immediate service, with technicians on site the day after a breakdown. Free 24-hour consultations are provided. A free 24-hour consultation service has also been set up, allowing customers to consult directly with computer experts. This has helped eliminate 90% of the glitches. It also allowed the company to meet user needs and expectations. Lessons from Dell: your success is only guaranteed by your customers. The Dell factory was a strange sight because there were no warehouses at all. Trucks loaded with parts would drive into the factory, and a sign would be placed on them. The trucks were then loaded with computers and software that could be tested immediately. The truck then drives to the customer who places the order. Michael Dell went a step further. Customers who order a computer from Dell receive it within 36 hours. They can also be assured that the computer was assembled using only Dell components. That's what 90% of the company's corporate and government customers do. He turned out to be a ridiculously talented entrepreneur. Lessons from Dell: never stop improving. In 2003, Dell Computer Corporation expanded its product line and became Dell Incorporated. The company now makes not only computers, but also home entertainment systems and mobile devices. In 2004, Dell left the company to become a director. However, he took over again in 2007 when the company's share of the personal computer market declined. In 2007, however, when the company's share of the personal computer market declined, he took the helm again and never gave up his position. The personal computer market was in decline. Dell decided to expand the company into a larger market. In 1988, Michael met Susan Lieberman. At the time she was a young but already fashionable designer from Dallas. By his own admission, an instant liking developed between them, and a year later they were married with 4 children. The Dells live in a large house, which the locals call a castle. Perhaps this is because it stands on a hill. It has a great view of Lake Austin. They keep Arabian horses on their own farm nearby. On the Caribbean island of Anguilla, he owns a 4-story house. In 2006, Dell bought the Hualalai Resort in Hawaii, which he loved. He now owns the local hotel and the entire resort with billionaire Rob Walton.